Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to all my students. Uh, Today we are going to discuss chapter number 5, which is related to the behavior of interest rates. Remember, uh, uh, we are discussing this in the course of money banking and financial markets. Before this chapter, we had previously discussed what interest rate is. If you people remember, we had discussions on what interest rate is, what is the difference between the interest rate in economics and the interest rate in finance, why interest rate is very important in determination of concept of time value of money, how interest rate affects our project selection techniques, and lastly we discussed what is nominal and real interest rates. If you people still have some queries about what we discussed last time, you are always welcome to share your questions through LMS, or you can come up with certain other platforms. You can email me, or we can have a WhatsApp group, whatever you feel is convenient. We can use that platform. You can ask me as many questions as possible regarding not only this lecture, but whatever we had discussed previously. If there is any assignment that you feel needs to be explained, do contact me. By the end of this lecture, I'll share with you the main. Uh, I'll share with you different possibilities, and then we'll work it out for the future course of action. What we are going to discuss today is chapter number 5 in your book, which is the behavior of interest rate. And the main emphasis of this chapter is on 5 things, out of which we are going to discuss part 1 today, and the remaining 4 parts in the coming 2 or 3 weeks. This chapter is a bit extensive, so we are going to take some time in order to understand the ideas in this chapter and how these ideas are then further related to other part of the course that we will be discussing. Because if you remember, our course is divided into 3 main portions, which is number 1 is related to money, number 2 it is related to banking sector, and number 3 we are going to discuss financial markets. Okay, so starting this chapter, which is chapter number 5, we are first going to discuss the topic. The first topic that we are going to discuss is determinants of asset demands. When we say determinants of asset demand, we are basically trying to identify those factors from financial point of view, of course, which affect our demand for any particular asset. This asset, remember, we are discussing fundamentally in the context of financial markets. We are basically talking about financial assets which are bought and sold in financial markets, not in physical markets or in real estate market. Okay, like any other concept, just like what you discussed in economics, there are certain factors that affect your demand for a commodity. For example, your income, when your income increases, it has an impact on what you are buying now or what you were willing to buy, but you did not have the purchasing power. So when money comes to you, what happens to your demand? Similarly, you were also concerned about the price of other goods. For example, if the good that you are buying has a substitute or has a complementary thing related to it, what will be the effect of the changes in the prices of those commodities on the commodity that you are trying to buy? Similarly, in economics, you must have heard the term uh, substitution effects. Then there were income effects. So all those factors which we take into consideration into goods market, we are also going to take into consideration some factors that affect our demand in financial markets. They may not be by the same heading, they may be having their own factors, but the idea behind this discussion is to identify the factors which affect demand for a particular asset, which may be physical or which may be financial. But since we are discussing money, banking, and financial markets, our discussion is related to financial assets. The first variable that affect our demand for a particular asset is wealth. Now, how do we define wealth? Wealth is a basic representation of at any wealth is basically a representation of all the assets that you hold over a particular period of time. Now, when we use the term wealth in investments and financial markets, you will study about a concept which is called cumulative wealth. Cumulative wealth basically means the wealth that you have accumulated over a period of time. It is just like when you are comparing your wealth from the starting point, which was zero, up to the point which is now, let's say, which is 5 years back. So you are basically trying to compare how much has your wealth increased over a period of 5 years. This is the concept of cumulative wealth index. Why are we interested in wealth? Whatever we invest in, our main objective is maximization. You must have heard the term that the major responsibility of every financial manager is to increase shareholders' wealth, the money that they bring and invest in the organization. Similarly, at individual level, we are also interested in maximizing our wealth and multiplying our wealth. So, whenever there is a situation where we see that by investing in a particular asset, our wealth is going to increase, the demand for that asset increases. As you can see from the arrows in the slides that are shown on your screen, you see there is a table where there are certain listed variables, for example, wealth. If you see, if you can concentrate and if you focus, you can see that when wealth increases, or if there is expectation that wealth is going to increase because of the investment in that particular asset, your demand for that particular asset increases. You can see there are two arrows on the left and right of the screen, which is under the heading of change in variable and change in quantity demanded. So when wealth is expected to increase, the demand for that commodity is also going to increase. Similarly, if you look at the second variable or the second factor, which is important, which is the expected return relative to other assets. Now, we are not talking about the expected return of a particular asset in its individual capacity. Rather, we are trying to compare this expected return with the return which is offered by other assets. Now, we all know that the expected return of an asset depends on many factors. This may be because they may be offered in a different market. For example, money market has a totally different set of characteristics compared with money markets, capital markets. So based on the characteristics of the market, expected return in varies. So basically what are you trying to compare is, the good idea would be that you try to compare the expected return of an asset with with characteristics that share the same with factors that share the same characteristics. For example, a money market security should be compared with a money market security, not with the capital market security. That in that case, expected return is always going to be different. So the good idea is that you should compare the return of a treasury bill with a promissory note, which is basically from the same market, which is money market. So when you compare such type of returns, you are basically taking into consideration the change in return. And now, because this is the same market and you are getting different returns, so your main objective in investment decisions and financial decisions is always to maximize your return. So if you can come across with an asset whose expected return compared with other assets is higher in the same market, the demand for that asset increases. So again, if you look at the direction of the arrows, when expected return increases, demand increases. And vice versa, when expected return is low, demand will be low. So this means that the nature of relationship between expected return and demand is a positive a positive relationship. Uh, Coming to point number 3, which is risk relative to other assets. We all know that in financial terminologies, we say that whenever risk increases, return increases, and vice versa. But most of the investors that we see in the market are basically risk averse. That is, they are trying to avoid risk, and they are not very keen in investment in investing in those securities which are expected to be risky. So when risk increases, demand decreases, and vice versa. When risk decreases, demand increases, and when risk increases, demand decreases. So risk compared with other factors have an inverse relationship with financial market. Point number 4, which is liquidity. Liquidity, as has been discussed earlier, it is the ease and convenience with which an asset can be converted into cash. If you are finding an asset which can be easily converted into cash, it means that if there is such type of asset available in the market, if the liquidity is on the higher side, demand will be on the higher side. If liquidity is on the lower side, demand will be on the lower side. So in our today's discussion, we basically tried to understand the first point that we wanted to understand is that how markets basically uh, offer different securities, and based on the characteristics of the markets, or based on the effects of those factors, for example, the effect on wealth, the effect on expected return, the effect of risk, the effect of liquidity, we first analyze these factors, and then we basically go towards uh, investment decision in a particular asset. So I hope through this discussion, a lot about asset demand has been cleared. I'm going to uh, uh, I'm going to basically paste a link for the lecture in LMS. You can also download lecture from there, and also I am going to paste a link with which you can forward your queries to me. If there are certain queries about this lecture, you can ask me. You can ask me through email. You can ask me through WhatsApp, which I'm going to share with through LMS link. So this is I think this is enough for today. Hopefully we'll have more fruitful discussions next time. So hoping to have your feedback on time, and your suggestions and opinions regarding the improvement of lectures online, and learning material can is always welcome. I'm looking forward to have your suggestions, your opinions. Thank you, and take good care of yourself.